In this session, we'll be dealing with the development of ovary. As you can see here, this is the urogenital ridge which has developed from the intermediate part of the intraembryonic mesoderm. Intraembryonic mesoderm is divided into paraxial mesoderm, intermediate mesoderm, and lateral plate mesoderm. The intermediate mesoderm will form the urogenital ridge, the lateral part of which will form the nephrogenic cord. So where develops the pronephros in the cervical region, mesonephros in the thoracic and lumbar region, and the metanephros in the lower part of the lumbar region and sacral region. And on the medial side of this, you can see the development of the genital ridge or gonadal ridge. As you observe here, so this is the genital ridge on the medial aspect of the urogenital ridge, and this is the urinary ridge. So you can see here the mesonephric duct and the mesonephric tubule. You can see the glomerulus coming from the aorta. So this is a genital ridge which has developed on the medial aspect of the urogenital ridge, which has developed from the intermediate mesoderm of the intraembryonic part of the mesoderm. So now you can see here primordial germ cells. So primordial germ cells, they are derived from the epiblast, from the caudal part of the primitive streak, and later they migrate to the extraembryonic mesoderm present in the connecting stalk. So with the formation of the tail fold, the primordial germ cells will migrate to the endoderm and splanchnic mesoderm of the hindgut. So from the hindgut, they start migrating cranially and dorsally through the dorsal mesentery to the dorsal wall of the body to reach the genital ridge. So by the time the primordial germ cells arrive at the genital ridge, the coelomic epithelium will grow towards inside and form the primitive sex cords. You can see here the proliferation of the coelomic epithelium forming the primitive sex cords, and you can also see the migrating primordial germ cells. So till this point, the gonad is indifferent. So it is neither male nor female. So now what happens? So here you are seeing the development of the male reproductive gonad, which we'll deal in a separate session. So here we will see how the male and female reproductive gonads are derived. So as you see here, the presence of Y chromosome. So the Y chromosome will have sex determining region, SRY gene, in the short term of the Y chromosome, which will have the testis determining factor. So that will act on indifferent gonad. So by SOX9 gene, so which will promote the growth of medullary sex cords and regress the growth of cortical sex cords. So the medulla of the indifferent gonad will develop into testis. So medullary cords develop and no cortical cords, and the lining epithelium will become the thick tunica albuginelia. And then if you observe here, in the absence of Y chromosome, there will be two X chromosomes which will promote the action of WNT4. So they stimulate the cortical cords to develop, and they promote the degeneration of the medullary sex cords, and there will be no formation of tunica albuginea. So the ovary develops from the cortical sex cords. So if you observe, so these are the primitive sex cords, this will be the cortical cords, this will be the medullary cords. The medullary cords will develop to form the testis, whereas cortical cords will develop to form the ovary. So it is the testis determining factor and the sex determining region on the Y chromosome which determines formation of testis, and its absence will determine the formation of the ovary. You can see here the medullary cords are degenerating, and there is no communication between the medullary cords and the mesonephric tubules. The cortical cords are persisting. The primordial germ cells, the cortical cords will form the follicular cells surrounding the primordial germ cells, resulting in the formation of the primary ovarian follicle. The medullary cords has degenerated. They form the middle of the ovary. And you can see here, this lining epithelium will form the germinal epithelium of the ovary. There is no formation of the tunica albuginea. which is seen in case of testis. You can see the difference here. See the testicular cords establishing communication with the mesonephric tubules through rete testis, but here there is no establishment of communication between the cortical cords and the mesonephric tubules. So this is a male pattern, this is a female pattern. Male gonad and female gonad. So here you can see the cranial part of the genital ridge will form the suspensory ligament of the ovary. The caudal part of the genital ridge in female will get incorporated in the formation of the gubernaculum. This gubernaculum later gain attachment to the angle of the uterus. So the gubernaculum forms two parts here. The upper part will form the ligament of ovary extending between the lower pole of ovary and the angle of the uterus, and the lower part will form the round ligament of the uterus. You can see here the fusion of the paramesonephric ducts to form the uterus. So if you see in the testis, they'll release Mullerian inhibiting substance. Paramesonephric ducts will get suppressed. The testosterone mesonephric ducts will get stimulated. So this will be done by the Leydig cells. So dihydrotestosterone will help in the development of external genitalia. Whereas in case of ovaries, they don't produce the estrogens, but the estrogens from maternal estrogen and placental sources, they will help in the development of the paramesonephric ducts and the female external genitalia. So here you can see these are the developing ovaries. You can see the paramesonephric ducts. Gradually they are uniting in the midline. So this fused part will form the uterus. So here you can see this is a utrovesical pouch. So as you see here in males, SRY gene promoting SOX9. So other genes will form the testis. But here the females, so as SOX9, SRY gene is not present due to absence of Y chromosome, SOX9 will be downregulated and WNT will be upregulated, resulting in activation of DAX1 and other genes, which will promote the formation of ovaries. So the ovaries develop from the cortical sex cords, whereas the testis develop from the medullary sex cords. The primordial germ cells, which are found from the epiblast, will migrate first to the extramembranous mesoderm in the connecting stalk. Later, due to formation of the tail fold, they migrate to the endoderm of the hindgut, endoderm and splanchnopleutic mesoderm of the hindgut. From there, they migrate cranially and dorsally to reach the genital ridge, where there will be already developed primitive sex cords. And depending on the presence or absence of the Y chromosome, there will be formation of either testis or ovaries. So these are the genes which are responsible. SOX9 gene is responsible for development of the testis, whereas WNT4 plays a major role in development of ovary. Thank you.